Good morning, Toronto. Good morning on this Monday. It is 7:21. Meredith Shaw is off for the week. Devo, Tammie, Sid here with you. This is BT. You may have missed this Friday, but boy, did it make some waves. The Toronto Star reported that two former senior staffers of Premier Doug Ford had a hand in selecting judges. Now, sitting governments select judges. That's what happens when you win elections. But the former staffer thing got people a little riled up. Well, Doug Ford, at a media availability Friday, was asked about this. He not only defended it, but basically said, big whoop, what are you going to do about it? Listen to this.
100% I am. We got elected to get like-minded people in appointments. I'm not going to appoint some NDP or some Liberal. I've made it very clear where I stand with judges. How would you like it if someone kicked your door in, put a gun to your head, and all of a sudden you find out that criminal that did that is out on the streets the next day? It's unacceptable. So every single appointment I can to find tough judges, tough JPs, to keep guys in jail, and I say guys because 99.9% are guys, I'm going to do it.
So the story itself made waves. Those comments traveled. Two things. One, seeing Patrick Brown watch Doug Ford do Premier stuff. It's weird. I always find that interesting, considering the history. Don't need to get into that right now. But Tam, a lot of people latched onto this. What was your initial reaction to those comments?
Disturbing, absolutely disturbing. I think that if he is appointing former staffers, that's one thing on its own. You're supposed to be appointing people to this committee. It's a nonpartisan committee. It's not supposed to have operations on party lines at all. And the reason is because the justice system is supposed to be separate from politics. It's supposed to be. And I understand that there are levels of government where, you know, friends and buddies of leaders get in. I totally understand that. But to be that upfront about it and to say that you were not going to put a Liberal and NDP, not even considering their qualifications. If a conservative judge is not as qualified as a Liberal judge, let's say, they're not going to get that appointment? The problem is that this justice system that we see here, where there are people, yes, who are out on bail maybe far too much after committing a crime, but also there are people that are being caught up in the justice system that shouldn't be. They're not getting the same treatment as others, especially when it comes to the marginalized and racialized communities. So I think that being so upfront and forward, people may commend that of Doug Ford, but it also is disturbing to me. Where is this justice system going to be going here in Ontario if we continue on those lines?
Devo?
Well said. I mean, I agree with everything Tammie just said right there. The example that he gave is what kind of shocked me a little bit. If you think that any person in the justice system is okay with that violent of a crime and having someone walk out the next day, it doesn't matter what party they support, I don't think that's something they want. We have to look at our laws and everything else that is in play at that point as well, not just who the judicial person is that's in charge of that particular case. So that kind of took me back a little bit, his example of, you know, getting the gun held to your head, and that's a little extreme, but it is. You can't be just like, hey, I got this now, so the homies are going to get some. Like, you can't just bring your buddies into every role if they're not qualified for that role.
I do think the bar should be higher to appoint a judge than I knew them once, which is what the story is to a certain extent. And I agree with you. Listen, racialized communities are feeling this a lot more than other communities. But it's also been the case under Liberal and NDP governments as well. Like stacking the courts is a tale as old as time in this country for Liberal, NDP, and conservative governments. I'm a little surprised at the backlash here, considering they won a larger majority than they had when they got voted in 2018 in this province. I just think elections matter, man. Like, the Toronto Star can go with this all they want, and left-leaning professors across the province can be up in arms about this. Look, they won that election. So, I mean, is the expectation, I'm going to leave this to you guys, I'm going to give you the final word. Is the expectation Doug Ford's supposed to put NDP judges on there or Liberal? Let's not live in the world where we think that shouldn't matter, because it matters. Our federal Liberals have been stacking courts in the Senate for years. It's been going on forever. There's a lot of reasons to criticize this premier. I'm taken aback at the backlash on this one, because what do you think he's going to do? What do you think Bonnie Crombie would do if she becomes premier? Like, I just think this is a natural way politics can run in this country. I don't agree with it. I think all judges should be 100% independent, but we don't live in that world, and I'm a little surprised at the backlash. Final word to you guys.
I just think that if you are, again, if this is a nonpartisan committee, you need to keep that. Like, don't just say that in public and then not follow through.
Agreed.
That's it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's it. You said it all. Like that's it's just yeah. I'm just.
And what happens as well when the Ford government is eventually, if this happens, elected out of office? Those judges live on. So yes,
Yeah.
they stack the courts, but if voter engagement turns and goes toward a Liberal or NDP government here in the province, we're still stuck with a conservative
Those judges stay.
justice system, and so that's the thing too.
When you're surrounding yourself with yes people, because that's what you want to do, which any government does, and nothing gets changed.
Yeah.
It's one mind and one way, and that's not good for a country like ours.
Ask human rights advocates in the United States of America the cost of having a lot of judges put in of like mind. And let me tell you something. Watch this next election in the United States. That is going to be, with all respect to all the issues, that's going to be the issue. We'll see where that goes. Anyway, let us know. Feedback at breakfasttelevision.ca. What do you think of those comments from the Premier? Let us know. Tammie's got a full news update coming up. Also coming up here on this Monday edition of BT, the Ride to Conquer Cancer is Canada's largest and most impactful cycling fundraiser supporting the Princess Margaret Cancer Centre. Coming up later on BT, we'll tell you how you can get involved this year. It's 7:28. More Breakfast Television coming up.